Bitcoin is staying steady at just over $30,000 per coin. Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is GSR Markets co-founder and president, Rich Rosenblum. Welcome back, Rich.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
It's Tuesday. That's how it goes. You point to a Bank of America global research report showing big inflows into tech more generally in May. We're now in July, of course. Why does that matter to crypto?
Well, I'd also note it was not only the biggest inflows in 2 years, but also the biggest weekly inflow ever for tech. So it shows there's been some improvement in sentiment for risk assets more broadly. But I think that's more of just the general picture that investors are coming back in. I think after that, we had the June bank stress test come out and showed that the biggest 23 U.S. banks came out of the stress test just fine. So I think that sent the signal to BlackRock that it was okay for them to put in their ETF application for Bitcoin. I don't think that's a coincidence there. So I think that we're really seeing a sea change in crypto where institutional investors, after really shying away from the space since the FTX debacle, I think these are the signs that they're clearly on their way back in.
So, along those lines, something benefiting from the application by BlackRock was, of course, Grayscale's GBTC, which, and for all the folks at home who might not know this, but Grayscale is owned by the same company that owns CoinDesk, that's DCG. So anyway, we had this, they have $19 billion in this Bitcoin trust. There was a massive discount. What were we, close to like 50%? It was like ridiculously low. All of a sudden, since this application, the discount for the trust to the price of to the Bitcoin it holds shrunk to 20-something%. Is that justified? Do you think that eventually, if and this is a big if, right? Because we can't guarantee it. BlackRock gets its ETF passed, that GBTC has a chance.
I think there's definitely a chance. I think that they are very well connected, very experienced company. I don't think they're known for missing their ETF applications, but I think it's more of a sign that the investors are returning in general. And this level is very depressed because there's just emergency exits from groups like Three Arrows that are getting out of their position at absolutely silly levels. So I think it's more about the reversion to the mean. It's still a cheap level rather than that minus 20% implying a strong probability that the ETF will get approved. Probably will push into next year, but I think this is more showing that there's a surge of just investment in the space in general, since these is still one of the tools that investors will use when they enter crypto. And after these last few weeks, now we have net inflows for the year for crypto into these types of investment products. Prior to the last few weeks, it was a net outflow.
I mean, the timing's a little bit funny just because like the SEC is kind of going after all these, crypto companies. And it's sort of a weird time in my opinion, for institutional investors to be like, yeah, let's jump right into the market. But anyway, I guess my question is quite simple. Are we in crypto winter or not? Like, which one is it? Because I feel like there's not even a consensus on this at this point.
Markets always look really bullish on the highs, so gotta temper the view when we're close to the cycle high here with Bitcoin back above 30,000. But I am feeling pretty bullish, and I do think that, as I mentioned, it's a real sea change that Larry Fink has come out in support of the space and submitted this application. And I don't think that's a coincidence or something funny. I think it's all very well coordinated. There's been a drastic change from Q1 to Q3 of this year. We went from banking crisis to the stress test getting approved to not only BlackRock, but a handful of ETF underwriters sending in their applications. And so it might be that, behind the scenes, the SEC is changing their tune, and they're thinking, well, BTC and ETH, we can't hold it back anymore. They also approved last month a 2 times levered ETF. So I think things are changing, and even if there's still some hot water for the alts, 75% of the market is Bitcoin and ETH, and investors coming in to buy those two assets, it's going to flow to alts eventually. So I am feeling pretty bullish. I think we're maybe not out of the bear market yet because we haven't seen private investment come into early stage deals, but I think it's coming.
You also took a closer look at CME's Bitcoin futures open interest. Can you unpack that for us?
Yeah, it all fits in with the other pieces of information, and that with futures markets, if open interest expands, it's showing that there's more people with open positions. So if there was that big move and the market rallied above 30,000 the first time in a few months, and open interest contracted, that would be showing that was shorts coming out of the market, and it was more of a short covering rally, probably something you more want to fade. But the fact that open interest expanded is showing that that's new buyers coming into the market, and that connects with the fact that we're also seeing inflow into these investment products.
Rich, thank you very much for joining us this Tuesday morning.
Thank you.
That was GSR Markets co-founder and president Rich Rosenblum.